Now you're all going to be winners. And this is the time that you might want to take out a pen and make sure you have it too. This is a little different. I met with these type of motivators and speakers. I had an award-winning second book. And I got to go up to Canada and meet Bob Proctor and Jack Canfield and Les Brown. Yes, the Les Brown you think he is. And then I found out there was a whole industry on this that we can bring back to you to start your year off with. I met Michael Jeffries, and he's a highly acclaimed sales and motivational speaker. Actually, since 1988, he's delivered over 3,800 hours of live seminar training. In fact, to more than 1,200 organizations in the U.S. and abroad, has hosted Michael's programs. His impressive list of clients are Delta Airline, Quicken Loan, Chase Bank, National Association of Hispanic Professionals, and Toledo Real Estate Investors Association. He's also the CEO of Seminars on Demand, e-learning companies that create video-based training programs featuring internationally renowned thought leaders, best-selling authors, and award-winning speakers. He's here today to share his best ideas for taking your sales and your lives to the next level in 2020. Let me introduce Michael Jeffries.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How's everyone doing today? Great. By show of hands, has anyone here seen me speak before? New audience, all right. A little bit about my background. Business has always been in my blood. At the age of 6, I started my first venture selling garden seeds and greeting cards door to door. At the age of 10, my interest in business was further sparked literally when I operated a small business out of my school locker selling fireworks to other 5th graders. At 11 years old, I began singing professionally, wound up doing dozens of national television and radio commercials, among them Pepsi, Fritos, Cheerios, Meow Mix, Burger King, a bunch of others. I actually made quite a bit of money as a kid doing that, which enabled me to pay for private high school in New York City where I grew up, my university education at U of M Ann Arbor, and after graduating, I started a business back in the late 1980s, and it's become quite successful over the last 30 plus years, and I'll touch on that a little bit before we wrap up. Now I'm hearing some extra sounds coming out of here and there that are a little bit distracting to the audience, so let's get that other microphone off. Are we good?
Sorry.
That's okay. Is that off yet? Yeah. All right. Now before I launch into my seminar, may I have your permission to speak fast? Keep it going at a good pace. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Great. And the reason I do that is this. Do you know the average rate of speech for most people is about 150 words a minute? However, every one of us have the ability to easily listen at about 400 words a minute. Now, if I'm up here speaking at 150 words a minute, but you're listening at 400 words a minute, what starts to happen?
Daydream.
Boredom, daydream, drifting, your mind goes elsewhere. My job right now, I got to keep your attention right here the whole time. If I can fill the entire 400 words a minute, your brain won't have anywhere else to go. Other good thing is this, I can actually cover about twice as much information in half the amount of time, which is good time management, right?
Yes.
And heck, even if you only catch half of what I say, we're still even.
Yeah.
You'll get used to me. All right, so let's get into the program. What is your first impression of this guy right here? Real quick, first impression.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. Does he look a little Grey Poupon there? Does he look kind of like a know-it-all?
Yeah.
All right, how many know-it-alls in the room? Come on, raise your flags. Where are you, know-it-alls? We got one back there, another one over there, another one right there. Hey, no finger pointing now. But even if you're a know-it-all, it's not what you know, is it? It's the who is very important. I can't discount that, but the bottom line, it's what you know and use that really counts. For example, how many of you here know a whole lot more about diet and exercise than you actually use? Get the idea? So you're going to hear and see some things today that you've heard and seen before. The question is, are you using them? Are you integrating them? So I'm going to remind you to do some things you probably heard before, plus I promise to deliver some new ideas. That's why I call it advanced influence and communication skills. So moving right along, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is trust? When you first meet a brand new someone selling their property or someone who might potentially rent from you, how important is it that they like and trust you on a scale of 1 to 10? 10, it's critical. So with that in mind, what do you do in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes? You just met a new prospect, either to buy their home or to buy their property or to rent to them. What do you do in the first few minutes to get them to like and trust you? You just met somebody, what do you do?
Get to know 'em.
Ask questions. That's a great way. Ask questions. That's a good thing. Well, of course, along with asking questions, a lot of people forget to do.
Listen.
Listen. You got to be a great listener as well. What else? You just met somebody. What do you do to break the ice and get them to like you right away? Other ideas? Smile. Friendly, pleasant demeanor. What's that? Build. Well, yeah. Then we're talking about now. How are we doing that? Some eye contact could be good, right? But not too much. Okay. What else? What else did I hear? What was that?
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself. Use your name. Learn their name. Remember their name. How about looking for something in common? You ever do that? Look, these are all good ideas. However, I've got some additional tools you can add to your toolbox that I guarantee will help you build trust and rapport way more quickly than ever before. Now, I don't know how many here have ever heard of neuro-linguistic programming. Does that ring a bell for anybody? All right, I see some hands going up. If you're not familiar with it, I don't want to get into the complicated, all the nature of it, but it's really a branch of psychology that explains, among many things, how trust and rapport are built and maintained. Now, many years ago, researchers began to study people already in deep rapport. Like, think about you and your best friend. You've known each other forever. You feel super comfortable around each other. The researchers began to study people who are already in this deep state of rapport, and they noticed some very interesting things about them. They noticed that once people were already in this deep state of rapport, they tended to take on similar physical body language characteristics as one another. They tended to take on similar communication patterns as one another. In essence, they sort of became like mirror images of one another over the long term. And so they further theorized. They're like, hey, if this is what happens naturally over time, what if we could very subtly duplicate the physical body language characteristics of another person when we first meet them? And what if we could very subtly duplicate the communication patterns of another person when we first meet them? And what they found is that by doing it the right way, you could dramatically increase the speed and the efficiency that you're able to build trust and rapport, and that's exactly what I'll teach you how to do here in the next several minutes. Sound good?
Yes.
Can I get a little more audience participation? Sound good?
Yeah.
See how much better that was? All you have to do is ask, right? All right, so before we get into it, though, I'd like y'all to do a quick little experiment with me, if you would. Would everyone please quickly make a circle like that with your hand? Everyone got that? All right, take that circle, place it on your chin. All right, don't move, don't move. Where's your chin? Don't move, don't move. Where's your chin? All right, this chin, for those who are still here, this chin is the one I'm talking about. Now, about 80% of you had your hand right there, but you all heard what I said. I said chin, but your brain responded to what you saw. What I've just proven to you is that body language speaks a little louder than words. Agreed?
Yes.
And look, I'll tell you what, there have been a ton of studies on this. You might have heard of this guy right here, Dr. Albert Mehrabian, very famous professor at UCLA, did a bunch of studies on communication. Here's what he did. He took communication, he actually broke it down into its three components to see how powerful each of them were. By the way, the three components of communication are body language, tonality, that's the way you say something like how loud or how soft, or how fast, or how slow, or you put the inflection in the words, that's all tonality, and of course you have the actual words that we use. So you got body language, tonality, and words equaling a total of 100%. Based on Mehrabian's findings, what percentage do you think that the physical body language accounted for?
75.
Good guess. It wasn't quite that high, but it was more than half. It was actually 55% just for the body language. Pretty powerful, more than half. So that leaves what? 45% left. What do you think that the tonality, the way that we say something, what do you think that accounted for the remaining 45?
38.
46, 44.
You don't have that much left. 48. Wait, what about the words? What's that?
37.5.
All right, well, these are all good guesses. Most people guess about 25, 30, sometimes 35, but it was actually 38%. And for those, if you have any, listen, you were very close, off by half a point. If any of you have any doubts about it, though, I'll prove it to you right now. Like, I could say a phrase, think of the implied meaning. I could say, I didn't say Johnny stole the money, implying someone else might have said it. Or I could say, I didn't say Johnny stole it. Now, I may have implied it. Or I could say, I didn't say Johnny stole the money, implying it was someone else. Or I could say, I didn't say Johnny stole the money, implying he borrowed it, right? Or I could say, I didn't say Johnny stole the money, he stole the car. You get the idea? But I'm just saying, just by where you put the inflection in a sentence can really change the meaning of it, agreed?
Yes.
Let's do it one more way just for fun. We're going to take a word right now as a group. We're all going to say the same word 5 times, same word, and each time we say the word, it'll mean something totally different by the inflection, by the tone, and you can do this with several words and phrases in the English language. Let's take, for example, let's just use the word O. The word O is a letter in the alphabet until you start putting inflection into it. So as a group right now, let's all say the word O together to mean, I understand. Oh. Now say the word O to mean, I really don't understand. Oh. Now say the word O to mean disgust. Oh. Disappointment. Oh. Excitement.
Oh.
I heard pleasure in there somewhere, but you get the idea. All right. So we got 55% for the body language. We got 38% of the way that we say something. What does that leave left for the actual words that we use, mathematicians? 7%. And of those three areas, which do most of us usually focus on when we're trying to build trust and rapport? What we're going to say. So in essence, we are ignoring 93% of our potential to build trust and rapport. Look, all I'm suggesting, let's also learn how to tap into the other two areas, and that's what I'll teach you how to do right now. So remember, researchers prove that people who are already in rapport with one another tended to take on similar physical body language characteristics. And how much was body language worth again? We've got to start doing that with our renters, with people selling their investment properties when we first meet them. So you take any scenario, you've never met the person, they've never met you, it's your first encounter, and they think you're going to try and sell them something. Now, if somebody doesn't know you, they don't trust you, and they think that you're going to try and sell them something, what kind of body language do they often snap into? Arms crossed, pretty typical, little bit like something like that right there. Now, what is it telling you? Somebody's doing that. What is it telling you? I don't trust you. I got my guard up, I got my wall up, I got my defenses up, and a whole lot more. Now, what I suggest you do, if you want to build more rapport with somebody like that, real casually, you start to ask them questions, look for things in common, all the other things we talked about earlier, the smile, all that sort of stuff. Real casually, as you're doing that, just very, very casually, just kind of cross your arms just like them, and subconsciously, they'll start to feel at greater ease with you. Why? Because you now have something in common. We talk about finding things in common, and you're creating something in common, and something very powerful. Remember, body language was worth 55%, so you're creating something very powerful in common. Now, obviously, you don't want to keep the person like this. Nobody's going to be renting any homes from you, or investing or selling you an investment home in this defensive body language position. So what you want to do, a few minutes later, just real casually, as you're asking them more questions and going through whatever it is you would be explaining to them or asking them, just kind of casually, just kind of uncross your arms and keep going with your presentation, and guess what? They'll do the same. 9 times out of 10, they'll uncross their arms right after you do. It's amazing how well it works. Now, once in a while, they don't. If they don't, what I suggest you do, continue on for another minute or two, and you kind of go back into it again. And then a couple minutes after that, you kind of go for the second attempt. By then, they almost always uncross their arms. Now, something very interesting happens quite often. Let's say that the person had their arms crossed. So you get to know the person, you casually cross your arms, you start building that rapport. A lot of times, you're now mirroring them, you have this in common with them, it actually puts them more at ease, and quite often, they'll uncross their arms first. Now let's say, for example, that, let's say that they put their hands on their waist. Well, if their hands are on their waist, you don't want to stay like this. You want to, once again, get into the position that they're in. But you got to be subtle about how you do it. I mean, you can't all of a sudden go like that, you know? They'll look at you a little funny and probably find somebody else to sell their home to. So what you got? So stay like this. Don't make a big hurry to shift positions. Continue on for another minute or two. Maybe use your hands as you often would to explain something. You drop them to the side. And another 2 or 3 minutes later, as you're conversing, just very well casually, slip it away, and now here you are once again mirroring their body language, but you very subtly transition into it. Now I know some of you are thinking, aren't they going to notice I'm doing all this stuff? Let me ask you, are people preoccupied these days? Yeah. You better believe they are. The last thing they're really paying attention to is what your body language is doing, but guess who is paying attention?
You are.
Their subconscious. Besides us, we are too, but their subconscious mind is tuned into all this, right? And it's not just the arms, other things. You ever meet with anybody at like a kitchen table or at a conference room table, and you're possibly leaning on the table like that? If they're leaning on the table like that talking to you, you better know they're leaning on the table while you're listening to them, right? Even more importantly, let's say that, hey, let's do a real quick role play here. Can I get a volunteer? Front row? Bring a chair. Come on up here. Here's what we're going to do. Sit across from me. You are someone who has a really desirable product. Oh, bring a chair, yeah. She's got you covered. She's got you covered. Thank you. Thank you. Pull that right up here. Now, I want you to put yourself down. And if you can't see this, stand up. This is really powerful. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the skeptical. This is a person who you want to rent to. You've got this house. They're very interested in renting it, but they don't trust you. So if she doesn't trust me, she doesn't know me, what kind of body language? Oh, I picked a good actress. Isn't that typical? Arms crossed, sitting back in the chair, right? Now, anybody can answer the question. I am the property owner trying to rent to her. What makes her feel most at ease with my body language? Is she most comfortable if I'm conversing with her in this body language position that I'm in right now? Or is she a little more comfortable with me if I'm like this? Which one? Huh? Sitting back. What happened as soon as I came forward? Did you feel like I got in your space, in your face? You want to know something? Listen, I've watched so many presentations. At one company, we had hidden camera set up. At another one, we had a mirrored wall in the general manager. I watched interactions between people all the time. You want to know what? Most of us are not paying attention to this in the moment. We're so busy thinking about, how am I going to rent? What am I going to sell? What am I going to... We forget about this, and because we're not aware of it at the moment, will be elbows on the table, arms on the table, even if they're not on the table, in this kind of forward-sitting position. And in any of those, you're in their space, you're in their face, you're coming at them. So if that prospect is sitting back in their chair, make darn good and sure you're sitting back in yours. Does that make sense? Now, you can do that like you probably should. Let's all of a sudden here, the person start asking, well, how long is the rent going to stay like that? Are you going to be raising it after a little while? Are the utilities included? And that's when you open up, like, let's say you have a sheet with all the information on it, like a renter's sheet, and you put that in. Now, if you open up a folder with information about your property and put it on the table, what does it quite often make the prospect want to do? Lean forward. So go ahead and lean forward now and start looking at that. So actually lean on the table. Now, if she's sitting there leaning on the table looking at that, is she most comfortable with me back here where I was? Or does she prefer I'm actually here with her looking at that? Here, right? What is she thinking if I'm still back here? Don't care, disengaged, but hold on now. Seconds earlier, she was most comfortable and I was right here. But as soon as she came forward, I don't come forward with her, she thinks I'm disengaged or disinterested. So what I suggest you do, after your prospect comes forward, wait about 5 seconds, and then just kind of ease forward with them. And when you do, don't stare them down. Look at the paperwork to take the pressure off. Make sense? And you can do that like you properly should. But let's say all of a sudden here we're both leaning in. You're kind of in each other's space a little. And this person's thinking, gosh, we're kind of in each other's space. At least subliminally, she's thinking, maybe I'm showing too much interest too early on. And what does it make the prospect want to do? Lean back. So go ahead and sit back now. You can actually cross your arms together or something like that. Now, if I sit right here, I just want you feel like once again I'm a little bit in your face. Hold on though. Seconds earlier, she was most comfortable when I was right here. But as soon as she sat back and I don't back off with her, she feels pressure. Can you see it? So here's the deal. If you're not consciously aware of, look, this forward-backward dynamic, I promise, it's going on every time you meet with somebody. The question is, are you aware of it, or are you just winging it? Because if you're winging it, I promise the times when they're back and you're forward, or vice versa, losing trust, losing rapport, it could be costing you that client. Make sense? All right, give her a hand for helping out. Thanks so much. Now, with all this body language stuff that we're talking about here, you have to draw the line somewhere, okay? If the person's got like a nervous twitch or the scratching club in a certain spot, don't be mirroring those things, all right? But you do want to mirror as many things as possible, and I'm telling you, it will disarm them. People don't even know why. They'll be like, gosh, I feel so comfortable with you. I don't even know why. Do I know you? Have we met before? Why? Because you're just like them, and they know themselves oh so well. It makes them feel, it's very subliminal, but it makes them feel more comfortable. Does that make sense? So try this. Anyone here using this technique already of mirroring other people? Yeah, see a few hands going up here and there. I'm telling you, those who use it, you wouldn't go without it. It's a very powerful technique, so put this into action, and it makes a huge difference. Right, so that's the body language. Moving along, what's the next one? Tonality. How much was tonality worth again? 38%. Now, the first part of tonality we're going to get into is speed. Now, if you're listening to somebody like me going 100 miles an hour, people like everybody coming to New York City to the East Coast, if you got somebody else going faster, pick up the pace of your speech. What do they come from like that? New York, I'm from New York City to the East Coast. But if you have someone going faster, best thing you can do is pick up the pace of your speech. Now, I'm going to say this is an exaggeration, but at the end of the day, if you got someone who's obviously going faster, do the best you can to pick up the pace of your speech with that person. Make sense? Cool. Got it. Great. Good. All right. Did somebody breathe for me? Anyone been breathing for me already? Thank you. That's what keeps me alive. Thank you. Okay, let's see, where was I? Sorry, I lost my spot. Oh, yes. We also have other prospective renters who are thinking about, all right, besides wanting to smack these people that are going so darn slow, what are we tempted to do when they can't even get the words out? What are we tempted to do? Finish their sentences. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. That was a huge mistake. Don't ever finish anybody's sentence. It's rude. It's interrupting them. How's it feel when somebody finishes your sentence? And not so great. So what you want to do, let them go as slow as they want. Sit back and mirror their body language. When they're completely done babbling onto you, you want to respond back to them like this. I think I've got a pretty good idea as to the type, and you slow yourself way down just like them. They think to themselves, my goodness, you're like the first person who's really giving me the time of day. I mean, everyone else is speeding me up, cutting me off, finishing my sentences, occasionally smacking me. You're the first person who's allowed me to communicate. You're the first one who's allowed me to communicate the way I naturally communicate. Can you see how this is going to make that person feel that way? Now, you want to be really classy. Most investors are not this level. You want to be really classy? Here's a little technique that you can use. And by the way, you should really use this with everybody, but especially with the slow-speaking people. After someone's asked you a question, and it's your turn to answer the question, before you answer them, pause for 2 seconds. And then reply. By pausing for 2 seconds, you do two very important things. Number one, you let the person know, I really just listened to what you just asked me, give it a quick couple of seconds of careful consideration, And now here's my intelligent response. I'm telling you right now, so many people, like investors, are so quick with their cookie cutter answers with renters or with someone selling their property that we feel like, come on, you didn't even really listen to that question. You had that answer way too fast on the tip of your tongue. I mean, face it, how many times have you guys heard that question? Hundreds. Everyone asks that question. How many times have they asked it? Once. We need to listen as if it's the first time we've ever heard it, if we're truly going to be authentic in the way that we respond to them and ultimately in our relationship with the person. Other thing the pause does is it makes you have to interrupt these people. I mean, these slow-speaking people, they breathe slow. They're just taking a breath, and you jump in and cut them off. So practice the pause. It's a very classic way to communicate. Next part of tonality is volume. You ever know somebody have more volume than others? You know, you might meet with one potential seller, and they say to you, "Hey, how you guys, man? Guys, came by. Come on in. Good to meet you. Come on in." A little more boom in their voice. And you met with a different perspective seller, and they're like, you can hardly hear what they're saying. They're so soft-spoken. Come on, we come across all types, don't we? So let's say something like that. They're really soft-spoken and low-key and quiet, and they greet you. They're like, "Glad you come on in." And you say to them, "Hey, great, glad you met me. I'm looking forward to our meeting." Can you see how you lose all rapport? Maybe you can give them a heart attack if they have high blood pressure. Tone it down. You can still be enthusiastic, but you got to tone it down and start where they are. So if they are low-key and soft-spoken and quiet, bring your voice way down and say, you say what you normally say, match their volume. Vice versa, you have someone who's more gregarious, more boom in their voice. They're like, "Hey, how do you come by? Come on in." Even if you're typically softer spoken, you need to belt it out and say, "Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?" Because when you give them the same volume and energy that they have, all of a sudden this light starts flashing in their subconscious mind. It says, "You're kind of like I am. You're a little like I am." If they start thinking right from the get-go, "You're like I am, you're like I am, you're like I am," are they more likely to want to do business with you? Absolutely. People who are like each other tend to like each other, and it's been proven if they like you, they are much more likely to want to do business. It's psychologically proven they're going to be much more attracted to you if you're like that. Make sense? All right, the last part of tonality is inflection. And inflection is the way we musically color our words. I mean, I speak with a lot of inflection. You notice my notes are going up and down all over the place when I'm talking. Meanwhile, somebody else could be telling you about the most exciting thing they've ever had in their entire life, and every word is coming on the same note. You ever notice that? We call that a monotone communicator. So if you're young, somebody's more monotone, you want to try to converse with them in more of a monotone way. Vice versa, you got somebody that puts more inflection in their voice, you pull a bit more in your voice. It's just one more way you can be just like them. People who are like each other tend to like each other. Now, sometimes at this part of the seminar, somebody in the room is thinking, "Michael, there's something a little bit weird about mimicking and mirroring people like that." And actually, I think it's the opposite of that. I don't know if anyone here's ever been to Japan, but as Americans, when we go to Japan, what is one of the customs that we're expected to do?
Bow.
Bow. Are we making fun of them and mimicking them? No, it's a sign of respect. You got a slower communicator, you slow down a little bit, that's a sign of respect. You got somebody sitting back in their chair, you back off in your chair, that's a sign of respect. Look, do you consider yourself to be a multifaceted communicator? If so, you should have the ability to speed up a little bit, slow it down a little bit, get a little bit louder, get a little bit softer. Use your body language in different ways. That's what being an extraordinary investor is all about. And let me remind you something really important here, okay? Like in terms of like renting, for example, here's what happens in many cases, all right? Especially if there's like two properties that are similar, right? My wife and I meet with you, my wife and I meet with another property owner, and then, you know, they're very similar properties, and then my wife and I get together afterwards, and one of us says to the other, "You know, I just feel more comfortable." You want to increase the number of renters you rent to? You want to increase the number of homeowners or property owners that are willing to sell to you? Learn how to make them feel more comfortable. And the majority of what we're talking about in today's seminar is geared toward exactly that goal. What was the final component of communication?
Words.
What were they worth again?
7.
Very important, very much worth paying attention to. Here are some really good ideas that you can use to build more trust and rapport using the words. Now, you ever notice, everyone has like a big favorite fancy word they like to use. I call it a $20 word. Who has a $20 word they like to throw around? But anybody got a $20 bigger word for me here tonight?
Persnickety.
Persnickety, there's a nice one. Persnickety. I heard a guy the other day, he's like, "Man, we got a lot of synergy going on here." I like the word synergy. I use one. What's that?
Our philosophy.
What's that?
Our philosophy.
What's that?
Our philosophy.
Our philosophy, you use the word philosophy. I use the word gregarious. You catch that one there? I heard a guy the other day, he's like, "We have a plethora of options for you to rent in our collection of properties that we rent." Another woman said, "It would behoove you to do this, it would behoove you to do that." She was a behoover. But here's my point. If you hear someone use a bigger or an unusual word like that, what you want to do a little bit later in the conversation, you use the same big word they used, and they think to themselves, You're just as smart as I am using that same big word. You're all right, I like you. But make sure you know what the word means. Excuse me, I'm going to go use the plethora. I'll be right back. But if you know what it means, it's a very good little report. Other thing is this, pay attention to people's choice of words. In the English language, we have so many different words that mean the exact same thing. For example, by the way, that's my daughter Luna. She was 11 days old when we took that picture of her. Real quickly, what is another, she's now 7, what's another word for baby? Another word for baby. Infant. Toddler, bambino, newborn, tot, curtain climber, anchor biter, tax deduction, and all the rest. But here's one. Let's say you're meeting with a young couple, and they're looking to rent one of your properties, and they're like, oh, we just had a newborn. We're so excited about our newborn. That's why we want to get into an apartment really fast, or a house really fast. Now, where do you think they got the word newborn from? Where do most of us get most of our vocabulary from in life? Parents and our families, that's where we get our core vocabulary. That's probably where they got the word newborn. So when you're following up with them 2 days later, like they asked you to do, you want to say, by the way, tell me, how's your newborn? What do most investors say? How's your baby? Don't make that mistake. If they use the word newborn, you use the word newborn, because subliminally, it'll make you feel more like family. And if you're thinking, oh, come on, Michael, that's just a little tiny thing, you know what my answer to you is? You're right, it is a very small thing. And so is sitting back in your chairs, they're sitting back. And so is softening your voice because they speak softer. These are all little things we're talking about. But when you pile enough little things on top of one another, what do they become? A big thing. Well, let me remind you, it doesn't need to be a big thing. And come on, look at the Olympics. What is the difference between the number 1 and the number 2 swimmer in the Olympics? It's fraction of a second. It's like one, you know that Michael Phelps won the 7th gold medal by 1/100th of a second. It's the tiniest little nothing. And let me remind you something. In your game, sorry, there's no bronze, there's no silver. You either get to buy the property or you don't. You either get the renter or you don't. So, you better make sure you're doing every little thing to gain even the tiniest advantage. And these are the kind of techniques that will separate you from the average and even the above average people out there. Now we're going to flip the coin over now. We're going to talk about powerless words. Words that rob us of our credibility. Half the time we're not even aware that we're using them. I'll give you a couple of examples I'm sure many of us here are guilty of. Have you ever said throughout the course of your business day, I'll have to? Hey, I'll have to check to see if that apartment's still available. I'm going to have to find out if we can get that investment money together to purchase the property by Friday. I'm going to have to find out what the rates are and get back to you shortly. I'm going to have to, you ever have to say I'll have to something? It's very common, I hear it all the time. Now think about it for a minute. When you say to somebody I'll have to, whatever, what is the undertone to I'll have to?
They're backing out of
It's like I'll have to, but I don't want to. When we were kids, what do we say? I have to clean my room, but I don't want to. I have to do the dishes, but I don't want to. Do I have to, Mom? You only have to do stuff you don't want to do. So you say to somebody, hey, I'm going to have to find out if that property will be vacant by Thursday, but I don't want to. I'm going to have to see if I can show that apartment to you by Friday, but I don't want to. Is that what you want I'm hearing? If not, don't ever let that come out of your mouth in that context again. Instead, replace it with, I will. Better than I will. Better than I want to. I would love to or I'd like to. I heard very good. I'd like to, I'd love to, I'd be glad to, I'd be happy to, it'd be my pleasure to. Any of those 5. I'd love to, I'd like to, I'd be glad to, I'd be happy to, it'd be my pleasure to, right? Because when you say I'll have to, it makes your face look like that, okay? Now this woman was just asked to be put on hold. How many of you here like being put on hold? You don't like it? Well then why are you still using it? Get rid of the word hold. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. People say, well, what do you say instead? Here's what I recommend, something like this. That'll take me like about a minute to research. Would you like to wait on the line or I'll be happy to call you right back? So I tell them how long. I use the terminology wait on the line, not the word hold. And then I say I'll be happy to call you back. Most people say I'll have to call you back, right? If you just say to somebody, hey, do you mind holding? They're going to say no, but do they mind? Yeah. Yes. So you got conflict right from the get-go. Eliminate that powerless language. Make sense? Now, the next idea, to be completely honest with you, is one of those things that when I hear it, I think quite candidly, where do people come off saying this one? I mean, to tell you the truth, we should have learned this back in Business 101. Now, I don't know who in the room can tell the other people in the room any of the 3 things I've just said in the last sentence you should never let come out of your mouth.
hold.
There it was. I heard it right there. A little louder, please. To tell you the truth. People will be like, to tell you the truth, you might want to consider our 3-bedroom unit. It's a little bit bigger for your family. They'll be like, to tell you the truth, you've been lying to me up till now? Right. To be honest with you, you might want to consider one of our larger homes in this neighborhood instead. to be honest with me, what have you been doing up till now?
Right.
You know, to be upfront with you, what do you mean to be upfront? I thought you've been upfront the whole time. You know, to be candid, what do you mean to be candid? I was expecting your candor from the get-go. So no more to be candid, to be upfront with you, to be frank, quite frankly, quite honestly speaking, to tell you the truth, quite truthfully, it robs you of your credibility and it makes your nose grow. So get rid of that powerless language. Now, oh my God, I'm moving so fast. Where are we at? We're still on words?
Yep. I'll be honest with
And what do we say words are worth again?
7%.
7%? That's it? I guess we can just say whatever well, hold on now. Hold on. In an email, can you see somebody's body language moving in an email?
Yeah.
No. You can't see their body language moving. Can you hear how loud or fast they're talking in an email? No. So in an email, what might the words be worth?
A lot.
A whole lot more. And there's other circumstances where the words are worth a whole lot more. So on the phone, you don't have as much body language. So again, the words, so we cannot discount the power of words. I'm going to show you a quick video that illustrates how powerful words can be when you tweak them just a little bit. Let's watch.
What did you do to my sign?
I wrote the same, but in different words.
Thanks, love.
Come on, would that make a difference if you were walking by? Anyone moved emotionally by that?
Yes.
You believe people buy emotionally, they rent emotionally?
Yes.
We need to learn how to move people emotionally, and you can do that with words when the words really count. So when do they count? Like, how about when you are, when you send somebody an email, the subject line better be emotionally moving. Here's a more important one. How many of you here advertise your properties for sale or for rent? You better make sure the headline is something emotionally moving. Like, here's a bad headline for somebody selling a home. Here's a bad one. All right, 2-bedroom, 1-bath starter home. Where's the emotion there? Versus create a lifetime of memories in your first paradise. See the emotion in that? A little bit different than, 2-bedroom. Does that get the idea? We want to learn how to move people emotionally, and if you tweak the words a little bit, as demonstrated in that video, it can really make a big impact. Like, next time you ever drive by a homeless person who lives in the street, like one that you really want to help, like a really old person or a person missing a limb or something like that, the one that you really want to help, and what does their sign say? Hungry, need food or something like that. That's a bad sign. When I see a guy like that, or a woman like that, I yell at them. I'm like, change your sign! They're like, oh, it shakes them up a little bit. I have to, because I got to get them to really pay attention. And they're like, what should it say? Imagine driving by somebody and instead the sign said this. What if you were hungry? Question mark. Would that get you right there? See the idea? We need to learn how to move people emotionally. You can do that with words when you tweak it just a little bit. All right, moving on. Now we're going to talk about some cool stuff. We're going to get to what we call meta programs. You look at the glass as either half full or half empty, right? And what's the difference? Is one person positive and one negative? Is one an optimist and one a pessimist? It actually goes beyond that. It is literally how people are wired. And once you understand this, you'll be more influential, more persuasive than ever before. I have time to teach you 2 meta programs in tonight's short seminar. The first one is called the direction meta program. It shows you the 2 forces that push people in a direction. Like, let's say 2 people are flat broke. All right, and one person, their mindset, they're like, oh, dude, I am so broke right now, man. I got to get out of debt. I got to get out of debt. All their mindset is getting out of debt. Another person who's flat broke, their mindset, I got to get I'm going to make $5,000 this month. I don't know how. I'm making $5,000 one way or the other. I'm making $5,000. All their mind says I'm making money. So one wants to get out of debt. The other one wants to make money. Can you see them both trying to go the same way? But they're motivated by different forces, okay? Your renters, you've got rent. How many here rent properties, people? Right? Your renters are the same way. Some of your renters want a really big yard, right? Some of your renters don't want a tiny yard. What's the difference? Same thing. Some of your renters want really bright, a house, really bright. Some of your renters don't want a dark, dim house, right? What's the difference? No matter what it is, I can position it as the benefit of having it or the cost of not having it. So here's the deal. You need to figure out which way is this person wired and then feed the information back to them. Does that make sense? So like, for example, let's say you had a perfect home and you had a couple of prospects that were looking for something like that. You flipped it, you're ready to flip it now, you got it all fixed up, you're ready to sell, and you have two interested buyers, both looking for the same thing. Let's say that this particular home had a really big yard. This is what they wanted. They wanted a big yard, they wanted a really bright living room, lots of light, they wanted something in a good school system, and they wanted something in good repair. You call them out, I've got the perfect home. Let me tell you a little bit about it. First of all, it's got a huge corner lot, enormous. It's in the highly acclaimed, what's a good school system around here? Sylvania? What's that?
Sylvania.
Okay, it's in that school system. It's, what did you call it? Washington Local School System. It's got floor-to-ceiling windows in the living room, super bright, and it's got a brand new roof. Would you like to take a look at it? And one of them says, oh my goodness, it sounds so perfect for us. Can we see it like right away tonight, tomorrow? How soon can we get in there? And the other person who was looking for the exact same type of thing, they're like, sounds interesting, maybe we'll get over there in the next few weeks. And you're like, what? The perfect home for you, and you want to wait a few weeks? What's wrong with you, you idiot? We don't say that, but you think that. Now, why was one prospect like, hey, can we get in and look at it right away? And the other like, maybe in a few weeks. Why? They were wired differently. All right? So let's go back. You tell me which buttons did we push. The button choices are towards what they want or away from what they don't want. Huge corner lot with a big yard. Towards or away from? Towards. Highly acclaimed Washington schools. Towards. Floor-to-ceiling windows, super bright. Towards. Brand new roof. All you did was towards, and the person was wired the other way? Maybe in a few weeks. You think you may need to move away from. If you know somebody's wired the other way, the conversation would go really different. You want to hear how that one would go? Here's what I'd say to that person. Yes, Mr. Jones, I'm getting ready to sell a home that meets all of your criteria, but it also meets a lot of my other prospects' criteria as well, so I give it maybe a week or two before it's gone. Now, what have I just created? Urgency and fear of losing it to somebody else. People who move away from don't like to lose, that's going to motivate them to action. And here's the way I'm going to describe the home to that person. Let me tell you a little bit about the home. First of all, it's not stuck between two houses like your last one was. See the way I worded that? It's not stuck between two homes real close. It happens to be in a giant corner lot. Also, you're not going to feel like you're living in a cave in this one. All right, it's got floor to ceiling. See the way I prefaced that? Not going to feel like you're living in a cave. It's got floor to ceiling windows. Also, you don't have to worry. See that word? You don't have to worry about your kids getting a subpar education because it happens to be in the highly acclaimed Washington School District, and you don't have to worry about putting a new roof on for 25 years because you just had a brand new one put on. So would you like to buy it before somebody else does? Can we see it tonight? Can we see it today? How soon can we get in there? It motivates them to action. Does that make sense? Yes. So now we know that there's two different ways people are wired in this realm. What do we need to know about the possible buyer? What do we need to know about them? Which one they are. Which one are they? Which way are they wired? And you know what? It's super easy to find that out. All you have to do is ask them one simple question, and here's the question right here. So tell me, what's important about the home? What's important about the property? What's important about the school system? What's important about the neighbors? What's important about the pool? What's important about the fence? What's important about anything? And then you just shut up and wait for the answer. What's important about that? And listen to the answer. Like you can ask somebody, hey, what's important about your neighbors? Well, we like to go to bed early. I don't want to be living near loud people. Towards or away from? Away from. You can ask them, hey, what's important about your neighbors? We love to barbecue. I'm hoping to make some new friends and be able to barbecue with them. Towards or away from? Towards, again. All right, try it on your kids. Hey, what's important about school? Well, getting good grades so I get into a good college. Hey, what's important about school? Getting out. Towards and away from. You get it? The other meta program I'll teach you, which is really powerful, it's the locus of control. It's really where people's decision-making come from. Like this guy right here has what we call an external locus of control. He really needs help making a decision. Like, do you think this property is going to be right for me? Or do you think you're renting this home? They kind of want your opinion. Meanwhile, does this guy look like he needs any help making a decision? No way. But you want to know what? A lot of investors make a big mistake. They deal with a guy like that, and they'll be like, you know what? This property I have for rent over here, I think it's going to be perfect for you. Let me tell you something. You got a guy like that, you don't ever say, I think this is going to be perfect for you. Because you know what he's thinking? He's thinking, I don't give a what you're thinking. That's what he's thinking, right? So you would never say, I think this is going to be perfect for you. And so what would you say instead? Ideas?
Let me know how this looks.
Let me, like, kind of what do you think? That's the second best way.
How do you feel about this?
That's the second best way. You want to hear the best way? Here's what you say to a person like that. You know, I have this, this home over here meets all of your criteria, but you're the only one who knows if it's going to be right for you. They love that. You're the only one who knows. Key phrase with a person like that. The other phrase you want to use is something like that. You know, I just want to get clear. My job is to show you some options that meet your criteria and then let you be the judge. They love let you be the judge and you're the only one who knows. Meanwhile, you try that with him. Hey man, you're the only one who knows if this home's going to be right for you. He'd be like, I really don't know when he goes home to mom. So with something like that, you change the approach. With a guy like that, you'd be all over. Like, I really think this home is going to be perfect for you and your family. I highly recommend it. You know, another young couple just bought the other home that I own next door. They love living here. You talk about all that external look, and there's even subdivision testimonials online on Google. Go read the reviews about this. You rave about it external, what they think, what she thinks, and you pour all that on. You come and talk to the next door neighbor, see how they like living here. You pour all that on with somebody like that, but you would never, ever do that with somebody like that. Change your approach based on who you're dealing with. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. How many remember what a phone booth was? A very interesting, this is really interesting. They did a research project at a phone booth, well, it was a study. They actually took a quarter, the coin, and they rested the quarter right there on the shelf, right there in the phone booth on the shelf. And somebody, of course, would go make, this was in New York City, but they'd go make a call, and then I found me a quarter, they'd put it in their pocket. Now, as soon as the quarter disappeared, wherever it went, the researcher would run up to them and say, excuse me, I accidentally left my quarter in the phone booth. Did you happen to see my quarter? I really need to make another call. Now, what percentage, they only asked people who took the quarter, what percentage of them admitted it and gave back the quarter?
60.
What percentage?
5.
5, she said 60. 30.
25%.
25? Who said 25? That's the closest yet. It was 23%, which means more than 3 out of 4 people had the quarter and said, nope, didn't see your quarter. 3 out of 4 walked off with the quarter. Now listen, here's what they did next. This is interesting. Can I get a volunteer? Thank you. Come on up here. Here's what they did next. Here's the phone booth, steal the quarter, watch carefully. Here's what they did. Steal the quarter, all right? She gets a quarter. Excuse me, I accidentally left my quarter in the phone booth. I really need to make another call. Did you happen to see my quarter by any chance? Now, what did I do differently?
Touch.
I touched her on the elbow for less than 2 seconds. That was, the words that the researchers used were identical to the first example. All they did in this case, did you happen to see my quarter? I really need to make a quick call, another call. Now, based on just a touch on the elbow, what percentage now gave back the quarter?
43.
50.
Higher than 50. 68%. It went from 23 to 68. 45 percentage points higher just by touching by the elbow. Now, did I strong arm her to giving it back? No. Why did she give back the quarter in the second example? Why?
Personal emotion.
Personal touch, she calls it, or human connection. So what am I saying? Touch your prospects more. Give her a hand for help out. Now, listen, I am saying to touch your prospects more, but be careful how you do it. If you follow my rules, you'll never have any trouble, no Me Too cases or anything like that. Now hear me well. Here are the rules, okay? Elbow, forearm, that's it. Less than 2 seconds. And you're not going to do it right away when you first meet somebody. Hey, nice to meet you. And you start touching them all on the nuts. You don't use it then. You know when you use this technique? You use this technique at the right moment. You know that moment when somebody's like, you know what? Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and rent it. Or you know what? We just got to think about it. You know when that fork in the road where they're going to make a decision one way or the other about some transaction you're trying to get them to do? That's when you want to use the technique. You'd be like, you know what? If they're an external locus of control, like we just talked about, you say, I'm really confident this is going to be a great home for you and your family with a quick touch. Look, if it made a 45% increase in the streets of New York City, you think it might make a little difference in your ability to influence and persuade? You bet it does. Try it out. I'm telling you. Listen, tonight, I'm giving you like a smorgasbord of ideas. Take what you like, throw away what you don't, but there's so much coming at you, and there's a lot more, so get ready. All right, so next, how many here send out thank you cards? Anyone do thank you cards? And what do most people do with your thank you cards?
Read them.
Throw them away. Hopefully they read them, hopefully they read them, and then they throw them away. Now, I'm not saying don't do thank you cards. I'm saying change the way you do them. Before you send anybody a thank you card, you better darn well have asked them a question like this. I like to ask something like, I'd love to get to know my renters or whatever, whatever the relationship is. I'd love to get to know my sellers, whatever, a little bit better. I'm just curious, like, what do you love to do when you're not working? Like, what do you do for fun? And let's say that, like, if I ask you that question, how would you answer it, anybody? Anybody like golfing, boating, camping, traveling, gourmet cooking, gardening, home repair. I was just gonna say something like that. Repairing homes. I mean, look, everybody's got their thing that they love to do. If you ask me that question, I'm gonna answer you real fast. My passion outside of work, deep sea fishing off the coast of Florida. I go on a regular basis. I am going a week from Friday. I'm getting a little fired up. Actually, a week from Thursday I go. I fly that night. I'll be fishing all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday the next weekend. And then I usually come home. Like last month, about a month and a half ago, I came home. My cooler weighed 61 pounds. I had enough fish. I must have had 60 fish in there. A lot of small ones and some bigger ones. A big mix. Filet. I mean, we had a party for 40 people. Everybody got fed, and then we had a bunch left over. I love fishing in Florida. It's my passion. People are like, that's you? You look a little bit heavier right there. Yeah, I actually lost 20 pounds, and I've kept it off now for 2.5 years, and that seminar comes up at 10 p.m. Now, listen, but if you know that I love fishing, that's my passion, and you wanted to send me a thank you card, go ahead and send me the thank you card. Meanwhile, what's my thank you card going to look like? Oh, yeah, it's got a fish right on the cover. Hey, I got you this card just for the hell of it. This one actually says, holy mackerel, it's your birthday. Now, let's back up a little bit. When you ask the person, hey, what do you love to do? Can we say that when you asked that question, it was like 3 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago? Do you think they remember you asking that question about what they love to do? You think they remember that? No way. So now they get this in the mail. What's their first thought? No, not remember. They don't remember you asking the question. How did you know? How did you know I love fishing, man? You're awesome. Wow. That's blow their mind number one. Want to hear blow their mind number two? Here's what the card says, okay? This is blow their mind number two. Dear Michael, thank you so much for putting your trust in me. I'm so glad we were able to find the perfect unit for you and your family. As a token of my appreciation, I've dropped a magazine subscription in the mail to you to Sport Fishing Magazine. Enjoy it with my compliments. Sincerely, and you sign your name. I would be like, wait a minute. You got me a subscription to Sport Fishing Magazine? Let me tell you what. I would be emotionally moved by that. You want to know how I know that? Because I actually had a real estate agent do that for me. And you want to know what? Every time I hear a friend of mine say, hey, Michael, I'm getting ready to move out of my apartment to buy a house. Oh my God, do you remember Levin, the guy that gave me the magazine? And you got to call Levin. He's awesome. He's your agent. You got to call Levin. And he's like, well, I've already talked to another agent. I'm like, no. You're going to call Levin. Dude, if you don't call Levin, then we're not friends anymore. No, I am fighting to get that guy business. By the way, how often do I think about Levin, who gave me the magazine? How often do I think about him? Every single month when that magazine comes, all right? Plus, I take it with me down to Florida, and I share it with all the people on the boat. I'm talking about him there as well. If I hear the word real estate, I'm thinking about him as well. What does a magazine subscription like that or any other typical magazine cost approximately? Well, this one is $9.97 a year. For $10 a year, you own me. You think I'm going to go somewhere else after that? No way, and I'm going to fight to get you business. Come on, is that a great idea? Let me tell you something, that's why we got to keep going to seminars like this and bettering ourselves and working on ourselves. Because if you don't do that, you know where you're going to be stuck? You're going to be stuck running with the pack. Most people are running with the pack. Where do you want to be? Head of the pack, leader of the pack. I think most people are running with the pack because they get into real estate investing and they look around like, what are they all doing? And everyone's kind of copying what everyone else is doing to a degree. Now, obviously, there are certain smart things that every real estate investor should be doing, but the most successful real estate investors, they're innovative, they're clever, they're coming out with ideas that the others haven't even thought of yet. I'm going to give you a few innovative ideas right now. Look, I'm not suggesting that you should use these ideas. I just want to get your wheels turning a little bit. How could you be different? How could you be innovative? How could you separate yourself from the other people out there? I heard about this landscaping company in San Antonio, Texas. The owner of the company, he'd go out to lunch each day in downtown San Antonio, and during his lunch hour, after lunch, he would walk around to digest his meal, and he would notice parking meters that were about to expire. And if it had a good-looking car there, a BMW, Cadillac, a Mercedes, a newer car, he would put 50 cents or $1 in the meter, crank up the meter, and then he'd put on the windshield what looked like a parking ticket. And people get back to their car, son of a parking ticket, rat! And then they pick it up, they flip it over, And it would say, relax, this is not a parking ticket. We were walking by, we noticed your meter was about to expire. We took the liberty of putting a little bit of money in there to save you the hassle of getting a parking ticket, compliments of Schreiber's Landscaping Service, and in essence it was their business card. Wow. Now, if somebody did that for you, how many people would you tell about that? Everybody. If you needed landscaping for one of your homes, might you use them? Yes. If you had a client who needed it, might you refer them? Would you keep this?
Yes.
Innovative, different, separates you from the competition, right? And I'm not suggesting you do this idea. I just want to get your wheels turning, although all ideas are free for grabbing tonight, okay? Next idea. Remember Levin I told you about? The guy, my realtor who gave me the magazine? This is his business card, okay? It is a heavyweight silver dollar size coin. It's heavier than a silver dollar. It's made of steel. All right? You don't want to get hit by this one. It's got his face engraved in steel. It's got his phone number on there. His web address is on there. Who's throwing this one away? Nobody. All right? Now, obviously, you're not giving them out to everybody, but when you have that person that you really, really want to impress, that's when you break out this one and you say, there's my card. Let me know if I can help you with whatever. Let me know when you're ready to sell that home. Whatever. You know what? That's when you want to pull out this card, and they'll be like, wow, that is so creative. Well, if you thought that was creative, just think of all the creative ways I'm going to ... whatever you're going to do. You get the idea? Again, take it or leave it. I'm just throwing ideas. I just want to get your wheels turning. How can you be different? How can you separate yourself from all the sea of people out there that are doing what you're doing? You want to innovate. You want to be different. Separate yourself from the competition. And you know what? Sometimes it's not even a matter of being different. It's just a matter of intention. Now you can say, I'm going to be in the top 10% of all real estate investors in the entire Toledo market. And people will be like, well, how are you going to do that? You've never been in the top 50%. What makes you think you're in the top 10%? You know what? Sometimes it's just intention. The matter of intention can help you to cross the finish line. I'm going to show you a quick video right now that illustrates how powerful this can be. This is Jack Canfield, recorded. You know who Jack is? He's the co-creator of all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. This is him recorded live on stage at one of our events in Southfield, Michigan, telling his favorite story ever. I must say it's one of mine. Let's watch.
Now here's my favorite story in the whole world that I've learned in the last couple of years from the Chicken Soup book that we're doing. Here's a guy, his name's Cliff Young, lives in Australia, and he wants to go run a race. He's always wanted to run a race. Finally, he shows up at this race. It's a 6.5 day, 875 kilometers, about 650-mile race. He's never run a marathon. He's never run a 10K. People are going, what, are you serious? Why are you here? There's no way you can possibly do this. He said, no. I know I'm going to do it. Well, what makes you think you can? He said, I'm a farmer, and I don't have a horse, don't have a tractor. What I do is I chase my cows around. Sometimes I have a sheepdog on the other side, and we have to run. Sometimes for 2 days, I don't get any sleep. I just have to run because there's a storm coming. Got to get them all in from the pastures. He said, I think I can do it. They thought he was crazy. All the other guys are wearing Nike, Puma, Asics, Reebok running gear. They start off the race, and they're really going fast. He shows up at the start of the race. He's wearing Oshkosh overalls, a white t-shirt, construction boots with galoshes on them in case of rain, he said, a baseball cap, and some sunglasses. Now, when everyone else took off, Cliff was running like this. They called it the Cliff Young Shuffle. But see, Cliff had an advantage that nobody knew about. In fact, Cliff didn't even know about it. The advantage was he'd never talked to an extreme racer. He'd never talked to a coach. He'd never read Runner's World magazine. He'd never read a book on running. He'd never talked to another elite runner. He didn't know that when you run a long distance race like this, you run for 18, sleep for 6, run for 18, sleep for 6, run for 18, sleep for 6. And he was so far behind everybody that when they went to sleep the first night, there was no one awake to tell him to stop. And he just kept running. He ran non-stop without sleep for 5.5 days and broke the record for that race by 12 hours. Don't you love it? Now, what does that tell us? It tells us that our beliefs about what's possible could be a limitation.
Could be. It's our beliefs about what's possible that is our limitation. It's all up here in the mind. And in the last section we're going to get into in just a few minutes, I'm going to cover what I call the 5 action strategies for taking your entire life to the next level by using the power of the mind. Before I do that, I want to show you one more fun video clip. Anyone recognize this guy right here? Who's that?
Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone, one of the hottest speakers on the circuit. This is him recorded live on stage at one of our events. You know what he's commanding now? He wasn't that expensive when we had him. He was only like 30 or 40,000 when we had him come into town. He's now like 150 to 200,000 a speech is what he's getting to speak. This is his approach to running with the pack. Let's watch.
Okay, I don't want to drive with the pack. I don't want to ride with the pack. Okay, competition's an unhealthy thing. It's a terrible thing. It's terrible. It's a sin to compete. You don't want to compete. You want to dominate, own a sector. Okay? A police officer pulls me over. You were speeding. Yes, sir, I know that. I knew that 3 miles before I ran into you. First rule of selling, what is it? Always, always, always agree with your client. Okay? I have a customer now. He's called a policeman. He says, man, you speed, man. Sir, I knew that 3 miles before you pulled me over. Did you get me when I was topping out? Huh? Did you get me when I was really hammering down? Man, this is a new car, dude. I've been trying for 3 days not to speed in it, and today it took me over, man. Okay? Huh? Did you clock me at 140? He says, no, man, I got you at 112. Dude, you should have seen me a mile before that. I was freaking hit, dog. I've been trying not to. I couldn't help you. See, his job now is to give me a ticket. Man, you were speeding, man. I know that. I know I was speeding, man. Why are you going so fast? Dude, I was driving around with these other people. These people crazy. I had to get out in front of them. I don't want to ride with them, man. I'd rather get a ticket. Because that's the middle of the pack. Right? You want to get out in front. Or you want to get a driver, one of the two. I want to get out in front. Would you agree? I want to get out in front of the traffic. So what, you get a speeding ticket? What if you're going the wrong direction but you're going fast? At least you find out sooner. Go fast, baby. Go fast, man. You want to go fast. Speed is power. You want to go as fast as you can at any object.
Yeah, Grant Cardone, he was phenomenal on stage, hysterical, loaded with ideas. We recorded an amazing program with him called Dominate Your Market. He's awesome. All right, as promised, we get to the last section. It's called the 5 action strategies for taking your life to the next level. Before I get into this information, let me give a little bit of a background. Where did I put my remote? Did anyone see it? I mean, I don't know. I move around so much, I couldn't send it anywhere. I don't know. I don't even. You have it back there? See? I don't even. I had to wind up back there. Anyway, all right. So let me give a little bit of a background. Where did I come up with all this information? How did I become a speaker and all that? Well, it was in 1987. I responded to a classified ad in the Ann Arbor News for free kittens. I show up at this guy's house, real nice guy, Darren Powers, met his family, nice upscale, fancy home, real impressive. I picked out a couple of kittens, and he starts asking me questions. Well, young man, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are your goals in life? And where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm just in my young 20s. I mean, I don't, you know, I chatted with him a little bit, and I started noticing, like, behind his desk, he had a fancy desk and like a library behind him, like this massive bookshelf loaded with books, and one of the bookshelves caught my attention because they weren't books. I didn't know what they were. They were like these plastic boxes. And I was like, what are all those plastic things on your bookshelf there? He's like, oh, those. He got all excited. Those are personal and professional development audio. They were cassettes. If you know what that is, we'll cover that later. They were audio learning programs. There were motivational speakers and experts and thought leaders. There were people like Jim Rohn he had on his bookshelf, and Brian Tracy, and Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dennis Waitley, and Rita Davenport, and Les Brown, and all these incredible speakers like in these albums, these audio programs. And I started asking him about it, and he's like, well, they help you to get to the next level in life, and they help you to improve your skills in these areas. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just got a degree from U of M. I just spent $60,000, the equivalent of $200,000 of today's dollars. Why didn't they teach me time management? Why didn't they teach me goal achievement? This is missing from the school system. I got borderline angry. I was like, tell me more about it, man. He's like, look, rather than me tell you about it, I'm going to let you borrow one of the programs. And he gives me a program. It's called How to Outperform Yourself by Mark Victor Hansen, who later became the other co-creator of all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books along with Jack Canfield. I got to tell you what, that program was amazing. I got so pumped up, so inspired listening to that program. I listened to the whole thing that week. The following weekend, I brought it back to him. I'm like, Darren, thank you so much, man. That was awesome. I loved it. Can I borrow another one? He's like, absolutely. He hands me a program called Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins. Have you ever heard that guy? He was great. I got all pumped up listening to Tony Robbins. A week after that, it was Dennis Waitley. The next week, it was Dr. Wayne Dyer, then Rita Davenport, then Les Brown, and then Joel Weldon. And over the course of 6 months, I wound up borrowing every single program the man had. I was a human sponge for this information. And at that point, I got so inspired, I got so positive, I said, you know what, I want to start a club for positive people. I'm noticing a lot of negative people. I want to get more positive people together. I'm going to start a small group. I figured 30, 40 people. We'll get together once every other month, and we'll get together and network and talk positive stuff. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be even cooler if I could have the speakers I've been listening to on these audios show up and talk to the group? And then I found out how much they charge. Oh my goodness. $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I said, you know what, I'm just going to expand my vision. Instead of 20 or 30 people, we'll get hundreds of people, and I'll make it work. Look, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wasn't doing. I was in my young 20s. I had not much to lose, so I just went for it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this club. And here I stand over 30 years later doing the same thing, even after people tell me why it wouldn't work, why you can't do it, you're never going to afford the speakers, blah, 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 blah. I did it anyway, and it's been an amazing ride. We've calculated now, here's what happened 18 years ago. I had been doing the seminars for about 13 years at that point, and what happened was, I thought, you know what, I'm helping a lot of people from northern Ohio, all over southern Michigan, and Windsor, Ontario, because they were all coming to these meetings, hundreds and hundreds of people. I thought, I want to expand my vision. I want to change the world. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start videotaping these meetings in a professional way. I bet people all over the world will want to tap into these speakers on video if I can do a good job. So I started seminars on DVD, about 18 years ago, which later, of course, when technology changed, it changed to seminars on demand, and it has been the most amazing ride. We've calculated now, we've helped over 1 million people in more than 40 countries to dramatically change their lives. Thank you. We have time. Thank you. It's been an amazing thing. It's been so fulfilling for me. Now, you can imagine, I've been doing this to this day. I mean, we have an event coming up a week from today. I mean, we've been doing this for years and years and years, decades and decades, all the time. I'm at every single seminar we put on. I've heard the greatest speakers in the world on a regular basis. I'm also, in addition to the probably, let me see, I don't even know how many, hundreds and hundreds of live seminars I put on. In addition to that, I am a sponge for learning. My car is a university on wheels. You get my car, Audible. I have 100+ books in my Audible account. I go to our own collection. We've recorded 130 seminars online. I listen to those. Other podcasts and other learnings and teachings. I'm a sponge for this information, and people know that. They're like, Michael, I know you've studied this stuff so much. I'm kind of stuck right now, or I want to double my income, or I want to do this. Give me a few pointers. Give me a few tips to get to the next level. Well, this section of the seminar is to answer that question for all the people who ask me, if you're just going to do a handful of things, what would you do to skyrocket your life to the next level? I bring you the 5 action strategies for taking your life to the next level. As I said, if you do these 5 things, look out, your life is going to get better and better and better. So let's go to action strategy number 1. This is your new mindset. If you don't have this mindset right now, you better adopt it real fast. Well, there it is. Immediate definitive action. Is the bear looking at the salmon saying, oh, there goes a salmon swimming by. Maybe I should try to grab him in a little while. Is that the mindset of the bear? No. He sees it and bam, he's on it like that. You need to have that kind of action orientation. What do you do? Well, that could be a good, I bet they're ready to list that property. That'd be a great investment property. I bet they're ready to sell it soon. Ooh, or that could be a really good person to rent from me. I bet they're looking to buy a new place. They're just moving into town. Or that could be a great place to advertise my properties for rent. Or that could, whenever you get a that could be a good whatever, your job, immediate action. Act on it right away. Most people are real casual. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to jot it down and we'll talk about it in next week's meeting. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to think about it for a couple days. Maybe I'll act on it then. People are real casual. And when you're real casual, you end up a casualty. So you want to be on things right away. Good idea. So here's the magic question. Whenever you think of an idea, a thought, a prospect, a way to market, whatever, any idea, a property that you might want to buy, whenever you think of that could be a good whatever, your job is to immediately ask yourself, if I'm actually going to pursue that, what would be the very first step? Would it be a phone call? Would it be research? Would it be contacting somebody via email? Whatever that first step is, Do it now, do it now, do it now. I mean immediately. All right, if it's call somebody, it's 2 a.m., you wait till 8 or 9 in the morning, but you do it immediately. You don't wait till a week later. Well, again, I didn't used to be this way. But ever since and you know who I learned this from? Brian Tracy, one of the greatest speakers in the world. I learned this from Brian in a program that we recorded in 2004. It made a major impact on me. It was called The Science of Positive Focus, and it's timeless, just as relevant today as it was back then. He talked about, this really got me, he talked about this university study. There were 2 groups of students. They followed them around for 6 months. One group, people who took immediate action on everything. The other group, completely the opposite. They followed them around for 6 months. Their productivity, their grades, all the things they were doing, what they were getting done. The group who took immediate action, superior. I mean, they were not just taking immediate action, they were taking action consistently across the board. Not just immediate, but ongoing action. Their grades were way better. The group who did not take what was deemed immediate action on things, guess what? They rarely took action at all. So be action-oriented, and it's real easy. You just declare it. I am now action-oriented. Say it. I'm now action-oriented. That's it. And now from now on, you just always ask the magic question. Oh, whenever you get it, that could be a good whatever. That could be a good person to meet. That could be a good whatever. When you get it, that could be a good whatever. The first question you ask is, if I'm going to pursue that whatever it was I just thought of, what would be step 1? Phone call, email, research, whatever it is, do it now, do it now, do it now, and your life will get better and better and better. It's the hallmark of highly successful people. They're action-oriented. Action strategy number 2, clarity. You've got to know what you want crystal clear. Most people, they don't know exactly what they want. It's no wonder they don't have it. For example, how many here want to make more money? Oh, all the hands go up. Now, if I give you $1 right now, guess what you'd have?
More money.
More money.
Did that do it for you?
No.
No, but wait a minute, you said more money. You all agree $1 more money, right? You get the idea? You can't just say more money because you may only get $1. And since you really want to make more money, your goal should sound more like this. By the way, do you all know about how much you earned last month? If you know about what you earned last month, a good way to work your goal would be like this. I am now earning $3,000 a month above what I earned last month, and it's going up from here. That's clear. Versus I'm really going to make more money. Unclear. Here's another one I hear people say all the time. Oh, I got to do more exercise. What does that mean, I got to do more exercise? What does it mean? All right, how many of you here is a big parking lot? How many of you walk from the parking lot in here, you're going to walk back to your car? Everyone walking okay? Is walking a form of exercise?
Yeah.
You're done. You're set. You did your exercise. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yes? No, really, most of us, that's not what we meant. Well, I meant like in the gym or what. Well, then say what you mean. You got to be clear. Right? If you do, like you said, you can't just have these vague ideas. Because here's what happens. You know the inner voice that talks to you? If you just heard something say, what voice? It was that one. Right? And some of you have a whole committee going on up there. But you want to make sure that inner voice is fighting to get you what you want. So instead of saying you really got to do more exercise, like here's my command that I command myself in that realm. I say to myself all the time, this is my self-talk. I say, I do 20 minutes of stretching, followed by 20 minutes on my elliptical machine, followed by 20 minutes of weight training every other day on an ongoing regular basis. That's clear. Versus a really good exercise more unclear. You get the idea? Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not willing to get crystal clear on what you want in life, well then any road will take you there. But you know what's scary? Where does any road usually lead to? Nowhere. People get a little anywhere in life, let the wind just kind of blow whichever way it's blowing, and then inevitably one day you know what happens? Bang! They smack their head into a tree, they wake up in the middle of the woods, and there's tree after tree after tree, they get stuck in life. And they can't get any further in life. And this is, this happens to the best of the best because they never got a clear vision. And it could have all been avoided if they simply got a clear vision. Look, this is the main theme that ran through so many seminars and success books I've been to. It said you got to have a clear vision if you ever want to hope to get anywhere great. And I'm telling you right now, it's not hard to get a clear vision. Here's what you do. You sit down and you think about it. It's thinking time. You actually have to plan some thinking time. And so here's what I do. I do this on a weekly basis. Typically on a Sunday morning, I'll wake up before my kids wake up, and I brainstorm. I sit in my comfortable chair, and I brainstorm all the areas of life. I think about, all right, how do I want to improve my spirituality, my connection with God? How do I want to improve my relationship with my wife? How do I want to improve my relationship with the time I spend with my kids? How do I want to improve my health? How do I want to improve my business, my savings, my travel, all the areas of life? I brainstorm what I want. And if you just brainstorm, here's where I am now. What would I like to have? Well, I'd like to have that. Here's where I am now. What would I like to? I'd like to. You just start thinking that question. Here's where I am now. What would I like to be different? Here's what here's the shape I'm in now. How would I like it to be different? Here's the amount of money I have now. How would I like it to be different? Here's the kind of relationship I have with my spouse right now. How would I like? You just ask that question, and if you think about it, you're going to get answers. That's it. That's how you get clarity. All right? It's very simple, but most people never make the time to do it. And then they go through life, and if you go long enough without getting a clear vision of what you want, you wind up sinking deeper and deeper, where ultimately you're going to end your life full of regrets. We want to regret-proof our life, and you do that by getting a clear vision. So you just sit down, you brainstorm. I promise you, you'll get a lot of ideas if you just dedicate a little bit of time. I try to do it weekly, sometimes even more than once a week. I'll think about things while I'm driving. I'll brainstorm what I want, clarity in different areas. Just work on yourself to get that. Now, once you get that clear vision where you really want to go, you better activate action strategy number 3. And I know you've all heard this one before. Ready to hear it again? Say yes?
Yes.
There it is right there. Write down your goals. You've all heard that. I know it. But you know what? Most of you probably haven't done it yet or lately. And I ask people all the time, have you written down your goals, written down your goals? Most people are like, no, not lately, not in a while. I ask why. What do you think is the number one excuse why most people have not written down the goals at all or lately? Why not? Time. That's the number one excuse, Jim. Time. You're like, I don't have time. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I don't have time. I'm too busy. Now, side note, how many here will readily admit that you waste at least 20 minutes a day? All right? 30? An hour? More? So don't tell me you don't have time to write your goals. The kind of goals that I'm talking about, you can be done with it in 20 or 30 minutes once. You're wasting that kind of time every day. So I don't buy that excuse, I don't have time. The real truth is, you're either too lazy to write them, or you don't think it's important. Now, the laziness, that's not my thing. I don't know if I can help you with that, the laziness part. The importance of writing them, oh, I can help you with that. Why is it so important to write down your goals? Well, look, I've studied a ton of seminars and books, as I explained. Every great book on success, all the good speakers, they all say the same thing. What we think about and what we focus on, we attract into our life. Heard of law of attraction? We attract what we think about most of the time. Well, here's the deal. If your goals are actually written down and you read them, what's going to happen is you're reading them. You'll be thinking about them. So you've activated the power of the mind just by having the goals written down and reading them. Here's an interesting question I have for you. If you don't have your goals written down, when will you think about them? Well, maybe not never. Here's the real answer. Here's the answer: when they randomly float through your mind again. So wait a minute. You're willing to leave your most important goals in life to randomly floating through your mind? Forget about that. My new mantra: ink it so that you think it. That's what we got to be doing. So what I recommend you do, get yourself a pad of paper or cardstock, whatever you want to write them on, and at the top of the page, write the words Secret 7, and you list your 7 most important goals on the card. Big goals, inspiring goals, motivating goals, goals that when you think about them, they pump you up, they get you fired up. All right, and clearly defined, not just, I want to buy a new house. No. Where, how big is the home? What style of home? What age is the home? What neighborhood is it in? All the details, get clear on your goal. All right? I want to attract a new, boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean, no, you got to be clear. What kind of person? Blah, blah, blah. You get clarity, all right? Clarity in writing the goals. So you write them all down. At the top we say Secret 7. Now, why do we say Secret 7? You don't want to share it with too many people. You start sharing the goals around with everybody, what are you going to hear some people say? You can't do that. Are you kidding me? I heard a guy pick up another guy's goals the other day. He was reading them. He's like, hey man, let me see your goals. He picks up this guy's goals. He's like, hey man, let me look at that. Dude, are you kidding? Number 1, make $150,000 a year? Dude, I don't even think you made $100,000. What makes you think you made $150,000? Oh, come on, don't get me going. Number 2, 20 minutes of stretching, 20 minutes on the elliptical, 20 minutes of weight training every other day. Dude, you've never done a day exercise in your life. You're not going to do that one. Oh, come on, man. Number 3, don't get me going. Quit smoking. Then you've been smoking since you're, what, 13 or 14? That ain't going to happen. Oh, number 4, lose 30 pounds. Come on, man. You've been fat your whole life. That ain't going to happen. Stop it. No, there's so many negative people that say, you can't do this, you can't do that. I doubt that's going to happen for you. And who are these negative people? Who are these people who tell you what you can't do?
Your spouse.
Well, who are they in some cases in our lives? Family and friends. Now, hopefully, in your circle of family and friends, you have some very encouraging people. And if you do, by all means, share the goals with them. But for the most part, be very careful about who you're sharing with. Because I learned this many years ago. I learned this from Les Brown, one of the greatest motivational speakers in the world, who's graced our stage many times. He said, if just one person tells you, you can't do that, that's a dumb idea, that's never going to happen for you, just one negative thing like that, you need to hear 17 times over again, they were wrong, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, 17 times over again, counteract the one time somebody told you, you couldn't do it. That's why when you hear about a little kid being told, and maybe some of you heard this like I did when I was a kid, you're an idiot and you're never going to amount to anything, that stigma might stay with that kid for their entire life. Because they're unlikely going to hear 17 other positive people saying, they were wrong, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. That's why we've got to be very careful and protect our goals at all costs. Now, once you've got the Secret 7 card written up, go ahead and get yourself 6 more blank ones and rewrite the list 6 more times. So you have a total of 7 Secret 7 cards, all right? If you're too lazy, go ahead and photocopy it. And then the old saying, out of sight. My new mantra there, in sight and in mind. That's what we got to be doing. So I recommend you do, you got 7 copies of these, put one of them on your bathroom mirror. Put one of them on your nightstand by the bed. Put one of them in your desk by your computer. Put one of them in your car by the radio. Put them where you're going to bump into them by accident. That's the whole deal. You want to bump into your goals by accident throughout the day. And here's all I ask you to do. Every time you see your goal list, simply read the goals and think about what you're reading. Because here's what will happen. Let's say you just woke up in the morning, you got one by your nightstand. You're waking up in the morning, you're like, oh, let's see what I got going on for today. Let's see, number 1, 20 minutes of stretching, 20 minutes of my elliptical, 20 minutes of weight training every other day. You know what? I didn't do that yesterday. I'm going to do that right now. It'll motivate you to get up and take action versus the average person hits the snooze button. You got one in your office, you're like, attract my best investment property ever. You know what? I was just a minute ago thinking about that building down there. I wonder if they're ready to sell it. I'm going to call right now. It'll keep you on track. It'll motivate you to take action on what you say are the biggest goals you want to achieve in your life. It keeps you on the game plan. Versus the average investor is bouncing around like a pinball in a pinball machine, not knowing what they're going to do, who they're going to call, what they're going to look for next. They're all over the place, which is ineffective. We've got to be clear about our goals. We've got to write them down. It creates focus. And as Tony Robbins said, focus equals reality. What you focus on becomes your reality. This is the major master tool for creating focus on the things you said were most important in your life. Make sense? Yeah. All right, so let's recap. You're taking immediate action. You got a clear vision for where you want to go. You got your goals written down. You got them plastered all over the place where you're going to accidentally remind yourself of what they are. You really want to take it to the next level? You got to activate action strategy number 4. And this is my favorite of them all. I love them all, but this is my favorite of them. And that is, you must visualize those goals like an Olympian. There's not an Olympian I know of out there that doesn't use visualization. It is part of the Olympic training. Now, why do all the Olympians use visualization? The answer is really simple. It works. It just works. Now, what is visualization? It's nothing more than using your imagination to see a moving picture. If I said right now, close your eyes and picture a beach with waves rolling in, you can pretty easily do that. That's all visualization is. Except instead of visualizing a beach with waves, you're visualizing your goal as if it's already unfolding. That you just bought your most amazing investment property ever. You just sold your home that you bought for 20 grand, you just sold it for 80. You visualize the goal as if it's already happened, and here's the most important key. This may be the most important thing I tell you all evening. When you're doing that visualization, here's the key. You want to get the emotional feeling you would have if you actually had that happen in real life. How would you really feel if you just cleared 100 grand profit on a deal that you flipped? How would you feel? Happy. Amazing. All right? So the whole key is to, while you're doing the visualization, you want to get that feeling. So here's how you do it. You close your eyes, you sit in a comfortable chair, you close your eyes. I recommend, you want to get your brain to what's called the alpha brain state, where you slow the brain down a little bit. So what I recommend you do, take 10 slow deep breaths. So you close your eyes. With the first deep breath, you see a number 10 floating by. Next deep breath, a number 9 floats by. Next slow deep breath, a number 8, and the 7th deep breath, all the way down. When you get to 0, if you're totally relaxed, focusing on those numbers, you're going to be at what's called your alpha brain state. You'll be in you're not sleeping, but you're in a real daydreamy kind of space, all right? Then, when you're under that, then you open up the movie screen in your mind, and you play out the movie you want to see. See yourself buying that dream property. See yourself having that amazing seller buying just the right property, just the right price, at just the right time. Visualize your rental units completely full. You visualize the goal as if you've already got it. And here's the most important thing, it's getting that emotion. How would you really feel if you just made the 100 grand? You want to get in touch with that feeling. Like, what do you do? Like, do you have a happy dance you do ever? Or a woo, or whatever your little thing is? You want to have that going in your mind. Yeah. Oh, God. You want to feel the whole thing in your mind as if it's already there. It's already unfolding. That's the key. Who was one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived? Michael Jordan. There's a lot of them. Larry Bird was great as well. Michael Jordan, though, I'll never forget. I read many interviews because he always fascinated me. His superhuman powers. But I'll never forget this quote that I read in an interview when they interviewed him. He said, quote unquote, "I shot more 3-point throws in my mind than I ever did on the court. Think about that. He's shooting them all day on the court, and that's not even counting the practice. He's doing them all day in his mind. He's practicing in his mind, We need to be doing the things in our mind that we want to have happen in real life. Now, I take it to another level. I haven't been sharing this with too many groups, but I'm going to break out my secret weapon right now, all right? This is what I do. All right. As I said, every other day I exercise. At my home, I built my dream home on an island up in Waterford, Michigan. I'm about a little over an hour from here north. And in my dream home, I have a gym in the lower level. Now, in the gym, I have an elliptical machine. When you get on an elliptical, you start exercising. What gets released in the brain? Endorphins. So I'm about to mix endorphins with the visualization process. Next thing I do, how many of you here have ever heard some music, some song that blew your mind, brought tears to your eyes? You ever hear music that really moved you like that? Find those songs. Build a great playlist of songs that move you. Get some really good quality headphones. Crank up the volume. So now you're on the elliptical or your treadmill, or not, I wouldn't do it on a treadmill because your eyes are going to be closed, Stairmaster, stationary bike. And so you got the endorphins going, you got this mind-blowing music going, and with that stimuli, open up the movie screen in your mind and visualize the goals. And here's what happens to me. My goals are so big and so inspiring. What happens to me when I'm seeing that movie? What happens to me is what happens to the Olympian gold medal winners as soon as they win the gold medal. What do they often do uncontrollably the second they win the gold? They cry. Why? Because the goal was so emotionally moving, tears of joy were the only way to express that level of fulfillment and joy and satisfaction and happiness. All right? You go to my house right now, I swear you'll see tear stains on the gym floor. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. Now, the first time my wife saw me doing this, you can imagine, she's like, why are you crying? Did you hurt yourself? Are you okay? And I explained it all to her. All right? Explained the whole thing. Now she comes walking by, she's like, keep on crying, baby. Keep on crying. Look, I don't know anyone else who teaches this technique. I'm just telling you, it's been nothing short of profound. How many of you have ever had real tears of joy? All right? Let me tell you something. When you have real tears of joy, you are flushing stress out of your body like nothing else could in that moment. And if you can manufacture that through your thoughts, what an incredibly healthy thing to do for yourself. And people say to me sometimes, well, Michael, isn't that kind of silly, grown adult crying about my goals? Not as silly as you crying later because you didn't make it. Well, wait a minute. Well, I don't know if my goals are big enough to choke a tear out of my eye. You better up your goal then. And then they say, well, all right, I haven't really thought about it yet, but if I could actually achieve that, oh, chills and goosebumps and tears well up in their eyes, you better come up with a goal that big or you have sold out. You settle for mediocrity. Right? It's not my life, it's yours. I don't care. You want to be mediocre? Mediocre, fine by me. But I came here tonight to hopefully inspire you to go for more, do more, be more, live your life the fullest you possibly can. Because as far as we know, we only get one chance at this lifetime. And because if you don't do all these things, you're going to likely end it full of regret, as we said earlier. So you got to be tapping into it. This is powerful stuff. I'm telling you, that whole motion of the visualization, it's profound. I do it on a regular basis. Now, people say to me, Michael, that's really cool, but what's the difference between meditation and visualization? Well, visualization is what I just explained, seeing the picture. Meditation is when you completely clear your mind and you try to think of nothing. And people are like, I can't do that. My mind is racing. I'm thinking of a million things. You know what? I was like that at first as well, but I trained myself to do it. Listen, I meditate now. I've been doing it for about a year now, consistently, like 5 days a week, sometimes 6, consistently. I did it this morning. I did it yesterday. I do it regularly. And you know what? I will tell you, it's been profound. First of all, my eyesight has improved. I had a health issue, completely gone now. I feel more balanced. I'm like so relaxed these days. Nothing, I used to get angry about little things would come up and now nothing bothers me at all. I'm just accepting everything as life. I don't know, all these things are happening just out of the blue from the meditation. I would tell you the number one reason to consider doing meditation, and I learned this from Deepak Chopra many years ago. He said it has been proven to, not a little bit, significantly increase longevity. So you want to live a lot longer? Get into meditation. Start with 5 minutes, and here's what will happen. You'll be like, all right, I'm going to try and think of nothing. Focus on one thing, focus on your breathing. Or focus on, if you're listening to an audio of waterfall, think of the sound of the water trickling or drop, or whatever it is. Think of whatever it is. You focus on that one thing. Yes, you're going to have thoughts come into your brain, but as soon as they come in, say, you know what, back to the waterfall or back to the whatever, and you just keep bringing yourself back. And maybe you'll have 20 seconds where you're thinking about that waterfall. And that's all you're focusing on is the present moment, that water dripping. And then you go, oh, I'm thinking about what's for dinner tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back to that waterfall. And it accumulates. So you have 20 seconds and then 10 seconds and then a minute and then a half a minute. In a 15-minute meditation, you might only have 5 or 3 minutes where you were actually still and not thinking about anything. But you know what? It accumulates and you get the value out of it. So it doesn't matter. Don't worry about how, start with 3 minutes a day. Then go to 5. Now, I do 45 minutes a lot of the days. And it gets easier and easier. And you get to a point where you love it. I will not go without it now. It's a regular part of my life. How many here have kids or grandkids? Get them into it at a young age. It's profound for them as well. It'll balance them. It'll make them feel more centered, right? Like this is my daughter Mila. She's 4.5. Right? The other day, she's like doing their meditation. She's like, shh, I'm meditating, Daddy. Shh. So really, get your loved ones into it. Get yourself into it. It's powerful stuff. And that brings us to action strategy number 5. And this, all right, let's just recap. You're taking immediate action. You got a clear vision for where you want to go. You got your goals all written down. You got them all over the place. You're reminding yourself of what they are. You're visualizing the goals. You're getting tears in your eyes because the goals are so big. When you do all that, your income is going to double, then triple. It's going to go up and up, and your health is going to get better. You're going to have all these great things coming into your life. Don't forget about number 5, and that's the power of gratitude. We need to be grateful for what we have right now. I don't care how much or how little you have. We need to be grateful, and we need to express the gratitude, right? I do this on a regular basis. Like one of the things I do, I get in the shower in the morning like I did this morning. I say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the hot water. And then I've trained myself, while I'm in the shower, I've trained myself to use that time to pour out gratitude. So I'll be like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for having 4 limbs. I'm grateful for my eyesight. I'm grateful for living in the greatest free country in the world. I'm grateful for my daughter's performance that she did at a dance recital. Whatever it is, I'm pouring out gratitude for all of it. I'm grateful for the amazing meal my wife cooked. I'm just pouring out the gratitude while I'm in the shower. Like if you're too busy in there, wash this arm yet? Wash that arm yet? All right, you should be on autopilot by now. Great time to pour out gratitude. Another thing we do in our household, we go around the dinner table asking everybody, what are you grateful? What are you grateful? What are you grateful? Right around the dinner table. And they got a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 22-year-old, and it goes across the generations real nicely. And now my little daughters, out of the blue, they're like, Daddy, I'm so grateful we're going to be having dinner together tonight. Daddy, I'm so grateful that you're whatever. They're just pouring gratitude, not even at the dinner table, just because I've trained them how to do this. It's powerful. All right? So, I know a guy at 7:15 p.m. every day, his watch goes beep, 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 and it says gratitude reminder. It doesn't matter where he is. He could be with strangers on an airplane, in a bar, restaurant, people he doesn't even know, and he'll be just like, hey, my gratitude reminder went off. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? He'll just talk to strangers. He said it has led to amazing conversations, new friendships, new clients, new business. He said incredible things. He would never go without that gratitude reminder. Another thing I do, I got this. How many here have seen the movie The Secret? Carry around a gratitude rock. Very powerful. I do this all the time, and it's my reminder to be grateful. And every time I touch the rock, I simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for ... You put whatever you want at the end of it, a little thing or a big thing. Like a little thing, thank you, thank you, thank you for getting me here safely and on time today. That's a little thing. A big thing, here's a big thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak at this group tonight, because I know there's one person in this room. I'm not quite sure which one of you it is right now, but I know there's one person in this room who's going to follow through on everything we taught today. You're going to become a master of building trust and rapport. You're going to become more persuasive and influential than ever before. You're going to have a much clearer vision for what you want in life. You're going to be taking immediate action. You're going to have your goals all written down. You're going to do the visualization, meditation, and all of a sudden your income is going to double, then triple, then quadruple, then quintuple. You're going to move in the home of your dreams. Your kids will go to better schools. Your grandkids will go to better schools. Your entire family tree is going to be better off. All because I got a chance to come and share these ideas tonight. So thank you for giving me the chance to come and change those lives today. Can I get an amen? Amen. Yeah, we have time. Thank you. We need to be grateful, and I'm a big believer we need to express the gratitude. I think it's been important to express it. And I've studied this a lot. I've been studying this for years. I've noticed something very interesting. People that are genuinely grateful, they keep getting more and more good stuff coming at them. And the ones that are not so grateful, they usually stagnate, or they actually move backwards in life. That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last part, and this is the number one thing that is stopping most people from achieving greatness in their lives. I present to you hypnotic rhythm. This is your blessing or it's your curse. Now, what is hypnotic rhythm? Let me define it for you. Okay, typical day for most of you. You get up in the morning, some of you may do some exercise, you have your breakfast, you get ready, you go out and you do your daily activities. You work, and you have your lunch hour, and more work, of your typical work that you all do, and then you finish out your day, you have dinner with your family, whoever you live with, TV time at night, whatever you do in the evening, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and what do you do the next day? Same thing all over again, and the next day? And the next day. And you know what? For most people, it's pretty much the same thing day after day. If you keep doing the same thing day after day after day, after a while it becomes a routine. If you do a routine for long enough, it becomes a habit. You do a habit for long enough, it becomes hypnotic rhythm. I'll redefine hypnotic rhythm. It's the habit of being in a habit. Now, when you have the habit of being in a habit, let me tell you something, it is virtually impossible to break that habit. Now, let me just say something right here. If your life is going amazing, you're making all the money you could dream of, you're living in your dream home, you have the ideal love relationship, you're in perfect physical condition, nothing could be better. You're already living a perfect hypnotic rhythm. So don't change anything. However, if any part of your life could use improvement, you must break hypnotic rhythm and recreate a new one. Now, there are 3 ways that I've determined you can break hypnotic rhythm. They're not in any particular order, so don't get the wrong idea. One of them is death. Not a good option. Another one is fear. Like, let's say you go to your doctor does a physical exam and a stress test, and your doctor contacts you the next day and says, I am really sorry to tell you this, but according to all the tests we did, your main artery is about 99.5% clogged. I was not expecting that at your age. But then I went and looked at your eating chart. Oh my goodness. Typical breakfast. 3 eggs, bacon, ham, and sausage, hash browns, triple butter toast, 3 cups of coffee and a donut or 2. Lunch, bacon, cheeseburger, onion rings, and a Coke. Dinner, fried chicken and cheesecake and a couple of cocktails. Let me tell you something, pal. If you don't immediately change your eating program, here's the deal. On this sheet, I've outlined what you're allowed to eat. If it's not on this sheet, don't put it in your mouth. Nothing deep fried. Number 2, this is a moderate exercise program. It's just stretching and walking. That's all you got to do. It'll take you about 20 minutes a day. If you don't do the walking and the stretching and the eating program I've just outlined, we may not see each other in 3 weeks for your next scheduled appointment. Now, if your doctor told you that, when would you change?
No.
Immediately, right now, out of what? Fear. I had a guy in my meeting the other day, he's like, I changed doctors. All right. So far, we have death and fear. Neither one of those are good options. The third and the very best way to break hypnotic rhythm, well, there it is right there. You commit to personal and professional development. That's how you break hypnotic rhythm. I'll prove it to you right now. How many of you here, from what you learned in tonight's seminar, the next time you meet with somebody, you're going to do something a little different with your body language? Bam, you just broke hypnotic rhythm. How many of you here may actually write your goals down in the next 2 or 3 days? Bam, you just broke hypnotic rhythm. How many of you here may integrate more visualization or meditation into your life for the next couple of days? Bam, you just broke hypnotic rhythm. When we learn new information, it changes our behavior, and it ultimately changes the trajectory of our lives. So we got to be working on ourselves all the time. How do you do that? You can go back to school and get a degree or another degree. Anyone want to do that? All right. Not too many takers usually. How about reading books? Great way to break hypnotic rhythm. Now, if you're like me and you don't have time to read books, the next best way, audio learning. I do Audible. We have a large collection of seminars I'm listening to all the time. I do audio learning while I'm driving, while I'm exercising. It's a great way to break hypnotic rhythm. But the third and the very best way to break hypnotic rhythm is what you're doing right now, attending a live speaker. Somehow for me, when I go to a live seminar, it shakes me up and inspires me even more than listening to an audio or reading a book. It's like the difference between watching a football game on the TV screen or being in the stand with all the people. Can you feel my energy tonight? That's what we're talking. And you're not only feeling my energy, you're feeling the optimism and the energy of the other people who are getting excited about what they're going to do with this information. So it's a contagious thing. That's why it's so important to go to live seminars. So I'm going to highly recommend go to as many live events as you can. And I want to quickly share with you, some of you may be interested, and Eric and Tony, if I can get your assistance real quickly, guys. Some of you may be interested in learning more about what we have going on. If you'll take those and hit that side right there, and Tony hit the other side right over there. And I'm going to share with you, Yeah, just drop those in each row and pass them to the center, and then around the back of the room we can maybe use these around the outside. Yeah, I'll let Anna do that. Yeah, she's got it. All right, just circulate this around the outside. I'm going to share with you what I have. Remember I told you I've been doing this for 30-something years? This is the ultimate live seminar series. It goes on, all the events you're about to hear about, they happen in Southfield. What is that, like an hour from here about? So it's only an hour away. And listen, they're every other month. It's not like you're going up there every week. It's every 2 months. There's a major event. Let me tell you what, the speakers you're looking at right now, you're looking at, right here, you're looking at about $250,000 worth of speakers. If you pay their fee, the average speaker on here is about $18,000 plus expenses and all the extras. You're looking at about $250,000 worth of speakers we're bringing in over the course of the next year. Now, remember I told you what I started doing about 18 years ago? I started recording these events, not just putting on seminars, but I started recording them. Well, guess what that makes me? I am now their video producer. As their video producer, guess what I don't have to do anymore?
Buy them.
A little louder? I don't need to pay them. I don't pay the speakers. I'm bringing $250,000 worth of speakers into town, and I don't pay them. Why? Because they want to get new videos made. They want to get royalties for what we're selling. They want to get exposure. They want to get, there's a lot of win-win. They're getting a lot of benefits for them. We're their producer. We're not going to pay them. We're their video producer. I have a completely different relationship. Because of that, you get to go to these. It's practically free. I'll tell you about that in just a second. It costs almost nothing to go to these. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. And real quickly, the next event is coming up next week. It's a week from today. It's going to be amazing. By the way, we get hundreds of people at every seminar. You like to network? Incredible networking opportunity. I mean, you're talking about probably 3 times the size of this audience here. A big crowd of people. There's a big networking hour beforehand. We have like a mini business expo. When you first walk in, there's a networking hour with 12 exhibitors, kind of like we have in here today. The exhibitors and networking, and the speakers are amazing. Like the next week, David Essel. He is awesome. He was here about 7 years ago. He was so good, we're bringing him back again. He's doing a program in the afternoon called Focus and Slay Your Goals. If you're not achieving at the level you want to be right now, he's going to show you why. It'll piggyback real nice on my seminar tonight. Doesn't cover anything what I talked about, but he's going to show you why is the law of attraction not working for a lot of people. Why are they not getting to the next level? They watch the movie The Secret, they read Thinking We're Rich, they're not getting rich yet. Why? He's going to show you all the pitfalls to current day success training and show you how to slay your goals by understanding what really happens inside the human mind. You're going to love him. In the evening, his program is called Love and Relationship Secrets. Most people's relationships are challenged. We need to learn how to improve them. He wrote the book on it. You're going to learn so many ideas on bettering your relationship, having more intimate relationships, loving relationships. How do you have better relationships with your clients and with your renters, all the people in your life? How do you have better relationships with them? He's amazing. Then you got, I'm going to move fast through the rest. Dennis Mosley Williams is amazing. I saw him live on stage in 2019. He was incredible. He was so good. I said, you know what? We're going to bring you in on our stage. You're awesome. His program is going to teach you. You don't want satisfied renters. You don't want satisfied customer. Renter is a customer, right, in your world? You don't want a satisfied renter. A satisfied renter might just disappear one day and go rent somebody else. You want to blow people's mind. You want to be like, wow, I would never think of moving. Unless I buy a house, I'm renting from you forever. Because you're doing little extra things they don't anticipate. Little extra things that make a big difference. Like the magazine idea, you're going to blow them away. If you do that for one of your renters, they're not going anywhere until they buy a home. You get the idea? You're going to learn, he's going to teach you, we are in what's called the experience economy. If you're not focusing on creating an experience, and it's not just a one experience like the magazine idea, it's every single touch point along the way, from the phone call to the email. How do you make an experience out of everything? He's going to show you how do you do that. That seminar alone, it'll make so much money for you if you start doing that. It's incredible. Then in the evening, Walter Bond, amazing speaker, one of the best motivational speakers in the world. He was here about 4 or 5 years ago. Blew the crowd away. His program is called Think Execute Dominate. It's amazing. Former NBA player, one of the greatest motivators I've ever seen. Third one out of left, Steve Gilliland, Hall of Fame award-winning speaker. This guy is second to none. $25,000 a speech. He's going to show you how do you overcome stress, how do you create less conflict in your life, and then there's a whole bunch of motivational ideas on how to pump you up and take your whole life to the next level. You'll love him. He's one of the best out there. Dan Waldschmidt, third one down the right, The Law of Awesome. This is his version of the Law of Attraction. It's an amazing program. My sons went to see him. We had him 3 years ago. They were 17 and 19 at the time. I'll tell you what, my older son, that guy completely changed his life. My son said, Daddy, I'm going to follow everything he said. I'm coming to all these seminars from now on. I'm going to all of them. I'm going to listen to all the videos you made. I'm going to start watching them on my iPhone and listening to them while I'm driving. I'm getting out of this. He was going through his grades were really bad in high school. He said, Dad, I'm getting out of this community college. I'm going to get into a really good university. He did everything. My son stuck with all of them. He's been in you'll see him at every seminar. He only missed 2 because he did get accepted at Wayne State, and that's where he goes now, and he couldn't miss class those particular days. He's at every event. So if you got any younger people in your life you want to help, I mean, we don't have any age limit. People are bringing 14-year-olds, 15, 13-year-olds, and up. So anyone, consider getting a second pass and bringing people with you. It's profound. Bottom left hand, I'm going to move faster left. Sam Glenn on personal leadership. He's so funny. You'll feel like you're at a comedy show while you're learning all these incredible ideas on how to lead your life with no regrets. You got Shauna Shu on profitable people skills. Every touch point, how do you create an incredible connection with that person? You'll get so many ideas through email, better emails, better phone calls, how do you communicate with people in a way that gets them to love you forever? Flip up the back. You got AJ Adams, an amazing motivational speaker, talks about attitude equals results. You got Eric Chester on more work ethic. How do you revive work ethic? How do you get yourself working harder? How do you get the people that you're working with working harder and loving it? Not doing it because you have to, but because you love to. And then you got Janie Smith. This is going to be great. Understanding your competitive advantage. Why is it going to be better for me to sell my investment property to you than to you? You're going to learn how do you position yourself, position your business, position the way you do business, or even with renters, how do you position yourself so that people want to do business with you instead of anyone else? And then George Walther, Invent Your Adventure. This guy lives in a different country every year. He moves every year. He's not saying you should do that, but he's a Hall of Fame award winner, by the way. He's going to teach you how do you live your bucket list so that make sure there's no holes in it. It is an incredible seminar. As you can see, we have a really impressive lineup of speakers and topics. I love it. You go to one seminar of this caliber with a $20,000 speaker, $18,000 speaker, you're going to spend at least $200 to $300 for one seminar. What we've been able to do by packaging this in a series, and more importantly, by not paying the speakers, by videotaping them, we've been able to bring the cost down. The entire year of seminars for the whole thing is only $449 for the whole year, and of course it is tax deductible as educational training. And when you get signed for the program, this is what you're going to get. Look at a membership card. This is what you bring to get in. Just show up there in Southfield, beep, and you're in. Nice thing about this, we know you're not going to get to all of them. Things are going to come up. You're going to be out of town. You can't make that one. Don't worry about it. You can miss as many as you need to and make them up down the road. In other words, we're always adding more and more speakers. So as soon as David Essel drops off next week, everyone shifts up and we'll be adding more at the bottom. We've been doing this. This is year number 32 for us, so it'll be going down continually. You don't have to worry. We'll never expire your pass until you've got to at least 12. Other great thing, these are fully transferable. If you can't go, give it to a friend, give it to a client, give it to a spouse. Anybody can get in, and I recommend get a second pass. Bring people with you each and every time. Also, we're going to send you an email reminder. You forget about these. Don't worry, we won't let you forget. You're going to get reminded every single event, 3 weeks in advance, 10 days in advance, and 2 days before, final reminder. And you're going to get on our text message on the front, you'll see there, if you text the word seminars to the 80309, you'll get text message reminders for these events as well. Eric and Tony, could you please hand out the other forms here? I appreciate that. All right. Now, this is the last part. I got a really great special for those who want to get signed up today. And the reason I do this, and Anna, if you could please hit the people in the back with these as well. I mean, don't hit them with it, but you know what I mean. Got it? Okay. Just pass those around the back section if you would, please. All right, I've got an amazing special for those that want to get signed up today. I said, you know what, and you can thank Anna for this. I mean, she said, I want you to give away your best. I said, sometimes if you give away too much, it devalues your product. She's like, no, people in Toledo like really good deals. I said, you know what, if that's the case, just because I love helping people and I've done quite well, my business has done really well, I don't really care so much about the money, so I'm going to give you the most unbelievable special we've ever done for any group ever. Check it out. Here's what we're going to do. Number one, if anyone needs a pen, you're going to need one in a second. Anna, do we have extra pens around?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If anyone needs a pen, raise your hand. And they go. First of all, cross out the $449. X that out right now. If you need a pen, hold your hand up high, and we'll get some pens. I've got some extras in here, some random different pens. Anyone need one? Raise your hand if you need a pen. Anna's walking around right there. Raise your hand if you need a pen. So cross out the $449. Over the right where it says total investment, go ahead and put in $349. We're taking $100 off just for enrolling tonight. Now I'm going to throw in some unbelievable bonuses. Bonus number one. When you come to our events, as I explained, there's exhibit tables to promote yourself. We're going to give you 2 exhibit tables. Any 2 events in the future. We charge $150 per event for the table. You're going to have 2 times you can exhibit there. It's a $300 bonus value. You're going to get that free by signing up tonight. Bonus number 2, remember Grant Cardone, the video there? Where did I put that video? Here it is. We're going to give you remember the video, the guy with the speeding and the police and the whole story up there? This is the entire program, Dominate Your Market. It's amazing. It's $50 on the website. We're going to give you that $50 value free just by signing up tonight. The next bonus is, I just got these fresh from Brazil. Where did I put them? Here they are. I got an amazing gratitude rocks. They're beautiful, shiny rocks from Brazil. You pick out a gratitude rock as another bonus. The next bonus is going to make it an absolute no-brainer. This next bonus is only if you do 1 payment. Now, if money's tight, you can do 2 or 3 monthly payments. This next bonus would not apply. All the other bonuses will apply. But if you do the $349 in 1 payment, you're going to get, remember I told you we've been recording these for now 18 years? We have 129, I think the 130th one is coming out this week. You're going to get access to the online courses. We normally give away a year as a bonus. Anna said pull out all the stops. All right, I can't believe I'm doing this, Anna, but here we go. Sign up tonight as a bonus. You do 1 payment. We're going to give you 5 years of all the streaming seminars. It's not just the 129 now. It's another 60 more because we're going to get a new one every month. For the next 60 months, you're going to have full unlimited access on a device. It's a single user, so you know 1 or 2 devices max. You'll be able to access every seminar we've ever produced and all the new ones coming out. That alone, that's a $1,000 value just for that right there. And if that's not enough to absolutely make this the most amazing value ever, this is the showstopper here. Look on the bottom of the form. You see we have a renewal. It's after the first year. It's $349 for the first year with all those bonuses. At the bottom, you'll see it's $99 a year to renew if you want to keep renewing. You get signed up with me tonight, I'm going to waive the annual renewal fee for life.
Wow.
But just to be clear, it is a one-time investment of $349. You get a lifetime pass. Go to all the seminars you want for the rest of your life. You never pay another penny again. How can we do that? People are like, how do you do that? I explained it earlier. We're not paying the speakers. Besides lights, camera, action, stage, speaker, what else do we need there? People! That's why it makes it such a beautiful relationship between the people who become our lifetime members and all that. So what an amazing value. Again, you're looking, add it up, it's over $2,000 value for $349. Here's my guarantee. I personally guarantee this will be the single best investment you've ever made in your personal professional development. Here's my guarantee. Try it for 1 year. If at the end of the first year you don't think everything about it, you don't love it, you don't feel it's amazing, we will cancel your lifetime pass, we'll cancel your 5-year access, and we'll give you all your money back. One stipulation, hear me well, I'm glad they're recording it, you got to go to 6 of the 12 the first year. But if you don't love it after you're going to half of them, you don't love it, we'll give you all your money back, cancel all things, you have absolutely no risk at all. But more than likely, you'll be the next person raving about how awesome these programs are. Let me show you what it's like. That was the last event that we just had. It's packed. I mean, I will tell you right now, we only have room for maybe 40 more seats. Once we get another 40 people, we're going to stop selling for a while. We're making our revenue selling the videos all over the world. That's our main revenue source, is selling the video content. So once we get it for live audience, another 40 seats, we're done for a while. So it's packed. There's another section on the left and the right you can't even see, and more people were out where we were standing taking that picture. This is the event before that one. This is the daytime event of that one. This is the other one before that one. And then check out this 90-second video. Sound?
Yep, I'm here.
Let's go.
The Yes Network is the best.
If you want to consider yourself amongst the best, you want to be with the best.
I learn something every time I come.
Anytime you can get in and draw from somebody else's experience and apply it to what you're doing, it's a win-win.
How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to win?
I'm going to give you one insight right now that has the power to give you an instant breakthrough.
Just one idea that refuels, recharges, re-energizes yourself.
Greatness is a choice.
If you want advocates, you should set an event.
Commitment has to come first. Some of you heard it, but you're not doing anything about it.
They're informative, they're educational.
Every time I come in, it's something new and exciting.
In order to be a peak performer, you have to be consistent.
It's not failure, it's a learning experience. I've been part of the Yes Over for over 3 years, and I love every aspect of it. I love the philosophy behind it.
Successful careers, good friends, enjoyment of life, healthy families.
You are bringing in some of the top names in the business, thought leaders and speakers who are experts.
We have to be consumers of the right information if we want the right transformation in our life.
The rule is to earn more, you must learn more. To sell more, you must learn more. To run your business more profitably, you must learn more.
We always leave here with something new to think about.
It is an experience you can't get anywhere else.
People that don't come here, they're missing out.
It's all good stuff. It's stuff we can all use.
So that gives you an idea what people think of it, what it's like. All I can tell you is that every single time I have an event, we do this every 2 months, every time without fail, 3, 4, 5 people walking up to me saying, Michael, I cannot express the amount of gratitude I have for what you do. This program has changed my life. It's changed my relationship with my teenagers. One woman said, I'm very successful in real estate for many years. This program doubled my income just in the last year. I mean, it's amazing what happens. And I'm not selling this with dollar signs in my eyes. I'll tell you right now, you're $349, it ain't gonna make much difference in my life at all. But this program, it's gonna make an enormous difference in yours. And if it doesn't, you can have all your money back. So give it a try. Like I said, it's the best value ever. I'd love to help you beyond tonight. And the best way to do that is by coming to these programs. Next event is just a week away. It'd be my pleasure to help you beyond tonight. By the way, if any of you are part of any company, corporation, association, any other networking group or club, and you want to have me come speak, I often waive my fee for the Toledo area and surrounding areas. So let me know if you have any speaking opportunities. We can exchange business cards afterwards. And by the way, for those who are going to get signed up, you don't, if you're assuming you're doing the one payment, you get the 5-year bonus of all the online stuff, you don't have to write your credit card number on the form. You can if you want. It's very secure, but you don't have to. We have a card reader, and they're going to be right at the table, the RIA table, right back there, where Judy is. We're going to be right there is where you want to go with your form. If you're in a hurry, other people who are not in a hurry will respect that. Just have a hurry, or you can jump right to the front of the line if you're truly in a hurry and you got to get out of here. Otherwise, we're going to hang around and network for a little while, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, here in closing, I'll tell you about this donkey that fell into a well, and the farmer tried to get him out of there. Listen, the farmer tried everything. He called his buddies over, they tried ropes and pulleys and all this stuff, and after hours of deliberating, they finally said, you know what, that donkey is so old, he's blind. I mean, that's why he fell in the well, and the well is all dried up. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to bury the donkey in the well. They're like, great idea. They start shoveling dirt. The donkey realizes what's happening. It starts to howl and cry with fear, but it got fuller and fuller and fuller, and after a while it just got quiet in there. And they're like, all right, he must be dead now. 15 minutes later, they heard a sound come out of the well and went, shh, 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 shh. They're like, what's that? I thought he was dead. Shh, 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 shh. And he looked down to the well. They were shocked. Every time another big shovelful of dirt would hit the donkey's back, the donkey would shake a little bit off his back and take a baby step up. Then he would shake more off his back, and I'll be darned, when they finally got enough dirt in there, the donkey was literally able to step right on up out of that well. Isn't that kind of like life? Doesn't life shovel a lot of dirt on us? Doesn't it? And when life shovels dirt on us, you know what we need to do? We need to shake it off and take a step up. The equivalent of that, you go to one of these motivational seminars. You get re-inspired. You get pumped up. You surround yourself with positive people. That's how you shake it off and take a step up. Now, when the donkey finally got out of there, you can imagine he was furious with the farmer that tried to kill him. So he went back there and he kicked the living crap out of that farmer that tried to kill him. And the moral of the story is, if you try to cover your ass, it'll always come back to get you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you.